Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope that you had a really wonderful weekend. And that you're ready for another short week. I know we work Friday, but hopefully Friday will be a productive and quiet and relaxing day for you where you can have some fellowship. I can't wait to see how many of you go to the gym to crash into each other with our sumo balls. So Friday should be great. All right, guys, today I want to do an LSPI, a mini LSPI check, and kind of run through our progress on some of our bigger goals. And as I'm doing that, take the opportunity to make some points about things that I really don't want you to lose focus on. So I'm going to make myself small and put myself in the corner, and hopefully you can see the LSPI behind me on your screen. Our first goal under the empathy priority of the Blueprint for the Future is staff and student well-being. And I wanted to bring your attention to this right here, number 3. Calling our students after a 2-day absence is an expectation that's outlined in the faculty handbook. I did a video about that at the beginning of the year during pre-planning, and it's an incredibly important practice because attendance so badly affects our kids' achievement, and many times just a simple phone call from you will bring them right back to school, because most of the time they are absent for really minor, silly reasons. And that simple act of telling them that we miss them and getting them back in the building is all it takes. So if you have not been doing this, first academic teachers, this is a reminder that this is a practice that is expected of all of us. And hopefully your APs will remind you of this in meetings coming up as well. Once attendance starts to get into the chronic stages, then your counselors will take over that work. But the first line of defense is always you, and it makes a huge difference. So thank you for remembering to attend to that. I want to bring you down to one of our targets right here too. As we really start to get into PAW Points and PBIS store, PBIS events, and an increased number of ways that kids can redeem PAW Points, and thank you for all your feedback, by the way, it's super important that you guys issue them. We actually have written in our LSPI that this year, 85% of our staff will regularly issue PAW Points. Carrie pulls reports about when and where and by whom PAW Points are being issued. And it's really problematic when we have teams that issue them and other teams who don't. So please be sure that you're taking advantage of this free reward system that, if we leverage correctly, can be an excellent currency to reinforce our kids' good behavior across the school. Okay, next goal. MPSS, it's under the equity priority of the Blueprint for the Future. And this right here is where most of our conversation today will be about, because take a look at number 3, leverage small groups and Wildcat Pride to provide differentiated response to student performance. And Wildcat Pride starts tomorrow. So this is a very important topic for me today. We have, or I shouldn't say we, Chris Tornice and the team have worked really hard to place kids who are not struggling in enrichment connections, and then leaving you with kids who have a demonstrated need based on their iReady reading score. Those classes have been made small for you so that you can provide effective intervention. Now, there have been 2 camps of you. Some of you have asked for a lot of direction for what you should be doing during this time. The other camp does not want a prescribed and very rigid mandate and directive about what you should be doing during that time. You would like flexibility because you feel like you know how to deliver the best service to your kids. You know me, and you know this admin team, And our vibe is very much anti-micromanagement because we believe that as the experts in the building, you know your kids better than anybody, and that you certainly have the ability to determine what they need during Wildcat Pride and then deliver that. So we do not plan to give you a prescription for how to use this time. We will start working on some data points for you, specifically from iReady, so that you have an idea of exactly where skill deficits are so that your intervention can be very focused. But it is really not our plan to start telling you what to do with your kids day in and day out. We trust that you are the experts at that. Having said that, however, I want to be very clear about an expectation. This is not time for kids to play games. This is not free time. This is not time for you to sit at your computer and catch up on email. This is not time for you to grade papers. It says very clearly right here that we will be providing differentiated response to student performance. And we moved the time of Wildcat Pride to the morning because last year it wasn't really being done with great fidelity at all. There were small pockets of places in the building where Wildcat Pride was really impactful, but for the most part, this right here was not happening. So we created a structure in terms of the schedule to create a time for you that's going to be better. But what you do and the quality of intervention that you deliver is 100% up to you. And guys, this time is important. It is a gift to have 30 to 40 minutes 4 times a week to deliver intervention to our struggling students. And our expectation is that that time be used very, very well. So I just wanted to be very clear about what our expectation was for this time, but also to be clear that it is not our intention to micromanage your moves during this time. If in our walkthroughs and as we monitor, we feel like it's just not being used well, then we will certainly consider being more prescriptive. But right now, we're going to trust that you deliver the best intervention possible because you know your kids. Your APs will probably ask you what your plans are and have you turn something in, but those plans are going to be largely driven by what you want to do with your students. I hope that that helps clarify what the expectation is, and certainly we will readdress it if you need to, but that is how we are going to begin. I'm very excited to see the outcomes that can result as a very good use of this time. Okay, there's that. And I think because I've already talked so long, I will probably not do a check on any of the other goals, but I will continue to do this in the Smore so that you're clear on what the goals are and what the action steps are that we're all participating in, and certainly what our target outcomes are so that we can see how we're doing. I love you guys. I'm super grateful for the amazing start that we've had to this year. Everywhere I look, I see you loving on kids, having very high expectations for them, telling them that they can and they will succeed because we believe in them. And there's nobody better to do it with. Have a wonderful week. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.